Hey, man.
Hey. Cheers.
Cheers.
All right.
Yes, we're having a guest appearance today because one of our co-hosts is indisposed right now. He's gone.
He's gone.
He shall be back, but today we're having Andy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And we're talking about one of his favorite actors. If you haven't guessed it already, it's Nicolas Cage.
This guy right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which, after watching a bunch of interviews with him and like a bunch of different like behind the ways of like his acting and stuff, very intriguing. He's very interesting.
Yes.
Yes, his acting styles are very cool. With the way that they like described his acting styles and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think. Should have the right term on it, but.
I'll put up a bunch of what acting styles they are, and like impressionism,
German
impressionists.
Yeah.
There's like a nouveau something, I can't remember, but yeah. So very, very interesting guy and actor. And today's movie we're talking about is Face Off. Been a movie since the 1997.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Good movie. My only qualm about it, the only thing that I thought was a little bad about it was that it's a 2-hour movie. That's the only bad thing I got about it.
Yeah.
Like it's a good action movie. It's got a good storytelling.
John Woo.
John Woo did a bunch of like American action movies, and
It's got some similar, like the MI2 in there, action scenes with
everything
the birds and doves.
Everything with John Woo is very formulaic.
Yeah.
Like his music, the way he shoots the scenes, like everything is very, very formulaic for him, and I really like that. I mean, that way, like whatever works for you, man. Like. Nothing wrong with that.
Uses the environment for the action too, like creative.
And if it's possible, he wants to shy away from CGI as much as possible. He wants it to be as authentic as possible. If it was within the realm of possibility.
Well, that's one thing you see too is with these stuntmen. Like if you slow it down, they are real. They're real stuntmen. They didn't even CGI anything to make them look like. But they are throwing those guys around.
Oh yeah,
big time.
Oh yeah,
it's pretty amazing. And
it's great.
The boat scene at the end.
Yeah,
it's like he's getting drug in the water. And I was wondering if it was a dummy or a guy. And but he's moving.
No, that's a guy. Yeah, like
that's impressive.
It was. It was like the way that they do this whole movie is very interesting. But we'll get to that in a second. First, we need to talk about this beer. Yeah. About the beer. Beer is by Founders, Dirty Bastard, a Scotch-style ale, 8.5%, and I am thoroughly enjoying this.
Yeah, it's nice.
It's a nice brown ale. I do get a little bit of those malted flavors, kind of like malt balls, and, Whoppers and stuff like that.
Absolutely, yeah.
But you get a lot of that like roasted like. Oaky taste to it. This is nice. This is very very easygoing, very smooth.
Oh yeah.
I'm gonna give this out of 5. I'm gonna give it a 4. I'm gonna give it a nice 4. It's got a good price point. It was $10.49 at Bevmo, so decently priced for a 6-pack. You're getting a good alcohol percentage, and it's a smooth, easy drinking beer. Like you get a little hop from it, but not like super offensive. Like it's very nice. What about you, man? What do you think?
Okay, well, I don't know if this is a sin, but I think it tastes like Newcastle. Is that a sin?
Well, since it's no. But since it's a brown ale, like like it's along those lines. So yeah, like
Newcastle a lot. So
nothing wrong with Newcastle. Good Newcastle's a good brown ale.
Yeah. Yeah.
What would you rate it?
Ooh, Which is out of 5?
Out of 5.
4.
You could do 4.5, like 3.5.
I think 4.
4?
Solid 4.
Solid 4s all around. All right.
I like it, yeah.
I'm definitely gonna have to try this again because this is a good beer.
Yeah. Good thing we have a few more.
Mm-hmm. But, yeah. So, now let's talk about this movie.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
I have a thing in here.
Yeah, go for it, man.
Within, let's see here. Anyways, within like 5 minutes, it's the choir girl ass grab.
Yes.
I want to write that down. I think it was like 6:50 or 6:30 into the movie. I was like,
something like that. Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's incredible idea. Oh, yeah, this one right here.
Yes, the exact face.
That face.
That face.
6.5 minutes in. Starts it off real, really, some good taste in it.
Yep. And that's why we got this beer. Dirty Bastard.
Dirty Bastard. Yeah, he was, pretty incredible.
But, yeah, that whole part was very super interesting.
Really, yeah.
And
really
just like it
brought
just
out
shows,
character.
yeah, exactly. It shows you what kind of a person he is right there.
Oh, right away.
Yeah.
And you know that just for that movie too. For when we were looking up people that would have acted in that movie too.
Yeah, the first choices that they had,
and
like second, third ones. Yeah.
And just I can't imagine anybody besides Nick Cage doing that.
Serious.
So.
Like, I think they would have changed the story completely if... Okay, so their first choice, their original choice was Arnold Schwarzenegger and Sylvester Stallone. So they would have changed so much of the story and, like, the character...
I don't think those guys would be comfortable doing that.
No, there's
Grabbing
no way.
no way. Girl's butt like that. No way.
There's no way.
Yeah, no way.
Like, there's the other choices were Harrison Ford and Michael Douglas. I could see Michael Douglas doing it, but like not as like crazy like he did, because he was in that movie. What was it, the 90s movie? Was it The Client? Or he's in a button-up white shirt and the
Firm? No, not The Firm.
No. Anyway,
Anyways,
I'll put up the name of it, but where he goes in and orders the food and he acts all crazy to the guy at the fast food restaurant because it's like 5 minutes to 11. They're not serving breakfast anymore.
Yeah. Well, there's
and then there was another one. There was Jean-Claude Van Damme and Steven Seagal, which that wouldn't have worked because they both hated each other. And by that time, Steven Seagal was an asshole.
That would have been.
He was very full of himself. But they would have had to change so many things about Nicolas Cage's character, and I think that just John Travolta and Nicolas Cage just like completely knock it out of the park.
Yeah,
it was just they just acted so perfectly, and the fact that they played each other so perfectly just made it that much better.
Oh yeah, right from the beginning. I would say from Nick Cage, or I said John Travolta as Nick Cage, or at the prison. They say he has a visitor, goes to the waiting area, and then all of a sudden the door opens and it's John Travolta, or with the face on.
Yeah.
And like it's incredible because like he just gets really close to him. Almost like he's kissing him, like just right in his face, like smelling him and everything. He's like all talking about how good his face looks, and it's like incredible. So he's so into himself. So it's and I think
Nicolas Cage, his character is very vain.
Yeah.
So
that's perfect.
it just made it perfect.
It's just
actually, the magnetic boots that they used in this movie were the same boots that the Goombas used in the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Wow. I was gonna say I thought that was so cool, like just that idea of the magnetic boots. I remember watching that as a kid. I was like, that was really cool.
Yeah,
because they could locate them too. I was like, that's really cool.
Yeah, they have a locator and they're magnetic. Yeah, that was
lock them down. Oh man, that was some great scenes. And then should we add in the whole beige Volvo?
Oh yes, the beige Volvo.
So once he breaks out of prison, Gets a car, steals a car at a valet point.
He steals a beige
Volvo, which goes back to The Rock.
Which is goes to The Rock, which Nicolas Cage's character drives a beige Volvo, which then Nicolas Cage's character in Con Air drops Dave Chappelle's character's body on top of a beige Volvo.
Yes, we're going to reference this a lot because I can't believe that was real.
The fact that we're doing those 3 movies. Oh shit, spoiler.
yeah, seriously. But it's incredible that they beige Volvo out of all of them. It's like...
Yeah, why a beige Volvo?
Yeah, beige Volvo and your baby. Carla and a beige Volvo.
Beige Volvo. Why? Why a beige Volvo? I don't understand.
That's got to be somebody in the God, what's the guy's names? The producers, Bruckheimer. It's got to be something with them.
Something. Yeah, probably
because he did all those movies. Bruckheimer, probably.
He did.
Probably has a joke about that or
probably.
something. Somewhere in there. Yeah.
It's just a very middle America car.
Safety first.
Yeah, exactly.
Safety first.
Safety first.
And then was it John Travolta's character teaching Jamie how to defend herself?
Oh yeah, with a knife. Stab it in her thigh and then twist.
And it won't close
so the wound won't close.
And Papa's got a new band. Papa's got a new band.
Papa's got a brand new bag.
Oh, brand new bag, yeah. And just that whole thing. You think he's sitting on his daughter, but he's just going for a cigarette on the table.
Yeah, well, he kind of is because it's very psychological manipulation at that point. He's implanting those thoughts into her head by doing those subtle movements.
Yeah.
It's all part of training and dang, I can't remember the word for it, but it's gross.
Yeah, it's very. I was say it's pretty gross. He's trying to hit on her too.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But so
seeing John Travolta pull that off too, you're like, wow.
I know. Exactly.
That's the thing too, because it's because you're like, yeah, I mean, Nick Cage can do that, but I think even Travolta was even better at it. It was, the whole thing.
John Travolta was just as Nick Cage would have been. Yeah.
It's just, yeah.
Well, I mean, they spent 2 weeks together. They spent 2 weeks together before shooting to get the mannerisms and speech patterns and movements down, and so they had it down. And it shows in this movie how good they did.
Yeah, we can imagine what that would be like too, to spend just go to go to lunch, go to breakfast, freak people out. Practice on the waitresses.
Okay, so
funny.
You remember his Nicolas Cage's girlfriend Sasha?
Yes.
Remember her brother? Her brother's the tall, bald guy.
Yes.
In the movie, the actor who plays the brother. I can't remember I don't know if I'm saying his name correctly or not. Cassaverdi?
Okay.
I can't remember if I'm saying his actual name correctly or not, but he came up with the idea of the long kiss that they have.
Oh.
Before they separate.
Oh.
Because they're weird enough that would be a thing.
Yeah, I wondered about that. Because I was wondering he came up with the idea, and she was okay with it. Wow. She was also weird. She had a couple of inputs, too. She wanted to shave her head for the character. And John Woo said no. Whoa. Yeah, that would have changed things for me.
Yeah.
Especially being a young teenage boy, I would have been like, that would have changed some things.
Yeah, exactly.
I would have, I definitely had a crush on her, so that would have, that would have changed things.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, alright.
So, I mean, I can't remember the lady's name who plays John Travolta's wife, but John Woo originally wanted her for the role, but the studio didn't. They wanted somebody a little younger and somebody a little more...
But just funny because she plays the perfect suburban mom, but also the nurse, the doctor, doctor, yeah. So
and the fact that John Woo fought for her to get that role is incredible. Plus, she was fantastic in that role too.
Especially when the guy, Nick Cage's character as John Travolta breaks into the house and is trying to explain to her that he's her husband, and like telling her about her only the things that she would know being married to her, and like and she's shaking there, and like that was really good.
Yeah, the whole like hand down the face.
Yeah, dude.
Like that's really random, but like it's the subtle things that like nobody else would know that you do that cues people in.
Oh yeah, right away.
And that was fantastic. And like you could see the realization in her eyes, and it was played perfectly. Yeah. Yeah. A good beer.
Oh man. So yeah, I guess we got to talk about the some of the action scenes.
Yes. Well, first off,
plane one, huh?
well, first off, the where the bomb is planted is actually at the LA Convention Center.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realize it when I first saw it, but when I rewatched it, like years down the line, I was like, oh, I know exactly where that is. That's the LA Convention Center. I stand there all the time.
Wow.
Because I go there usually every year because Anime Expo is there.
Yeah.
Is there, so I go there.
Like that
all
pillar,
the time.
like in that area, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
That area where they're standing is a massive open area, and it's really weird that seeing that out there right there because it's exactly the same. Nothing's changed. Yeah. Everything looks exactly the same as it was.
Wow, yeah.
And it's just weird seeing it and then realizing that, wow, I've been there.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah, exactly. I'm trying to think if I've done anything like that, too. I mean, like, from a different movie or something.
Well, okay, so the airport scene when in Yes Man, when Jim Carrey and Zooey Deschanel come back.
Oh, yeah.
That is not actually an airport. That is the Ontario Convention Center, and I've also been there for a different reason.
Yeah. All right. Yeah, I mean, you would know too. You'd be like, "Wait a second."
Yeah, I was like, "Oh, I've been in that hallway."
You can't hide everything from me. Let's talk about that friggin' the plane scene from the beginning.
Oh, the plane scene.
So
yes.
Travolta comes up. First of all, it's head on head with the plane chicken with the Hummer. But then after that, he has time to steal the chopper, get up in the chopper, come all the way over, block the flaps,
and knock one off,
and then he's like, and then also fire the gun into the one hand out the window.
Yeah, exactly.
Blows up the engine.
Yep.
And I was like, okay, this is pretty amazing. At this point, it's like, it's incredible. But
exactly.
And all the cops are like, follow his lead. Not like,
follow him.
He's a crazy asshole. Don't follow his lead. Follow his lead.
Exactly.
And then Nick Cage, he's like, fly, bitch, fly. And then he kills him, and then because he can't take off because he has no flaps.
He has no flaps.
Yeah, kills him anyways, and drives right into the thing. And
drives out, right into the warehouse.
And then just the fact with the double gold pistols,
with the dragons on the handles
the whole time, and then the whole scene where it's. They think they're facing off each other, and then they're like, we have one bullet left. And he's like, he tries to shoot him, just click.
He clicks, oh, no, he's out.
And then he gets down on his knees, and he's like, acts like, oh, I'm so sorry, don't do this, whatever. And then he's like trying to deke him, and then tries to pull a knife on him. Travolta kicks him, and then puts it over into the engine testing thing, blows him right into the chains. It's like that is so like just Nick Cage. I was gonna say like Michael Bay, but like all that. But Woo, I guess that'd be like. But it's
John Woo has a lot of like takes from like Michael Bay movies for the most part.
It's like just incredible how that whole like thing.
The whole thing is very fantastical in itself.
Yeah. It's just so much, so many just random bullets.
Yes, exactly.
There's a lot of firing and just, a lot of close-ups of Nick Cage's face to John Travolta's as they're like in the zone trying to find each other.
Yeah, they're definitely already trying to make a connection between like John Travolta and Nick Cage by focusing on their faces.
Yeah. Do they even have the same eye color? Do we know that for a fact? We gotta look that up. Because that was the one thing they were like, the eye pigments are the same, so it wasn't even.
I think so. I think their eye pigments are the same. I think the only thing that's different is that John Travolta is a little bit taller and a little bit heavier.
Right.
At that point, because John Travolta was still pretty slim at that point.
Yeah.
He hadn't gotten quite as carried away before he lost weight again. And Nick Cage has always been relatively fit through pretty much from everything. Yeah. From like the first time I saw him in Fast Time at Ridgemont High to most recently in what was it, Mandy?
Oh boy.
He's always been pretty fit for like for himself. And you would have figured like at some point, usually actors sometimes let themselves go, but Nick Cage has always been pretty much right there. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. This is nice.
It's beautiful.
This is.
It is beautiful.
It is.
Yeah, let's go another action scene. Let me think here.
With the fight at the apartment.
Oh,
the firefight at the apartment. Yes,
all the glass.
Lots of glass. The people dropping in.
Yeah, somewhere over the rainbow, playing over the kids' heads.
Yes, that was
incredible.
That was sung by. Oh shoot! I had that. Yeah. The girl who plays Sandra Dee in Grease.
Wow. That's specific.
Damn it.
That was her, yeah? All right.
That was her, yes.
That's cool.
Dang it, I can't remember her name. I had it, and then I lost it. I'll put her name on the screen, but yes, they made that reference because John Travolta was in Grease with her.
Wow.
So they,
What?
she sang the song Let's Get Physical.
Oh, Olivia Newton-John.
Yes, thank you.
Oh, I thought it was the beauty school dropout girl. Or something.
No.
Wow, Olivia Newton-John.
Yeah, she sang that version of Over the Rainbow.
Wow.
Cool. And that also John Woo also had to fight for that scene to be shot that way.
Wow.
Because they thought it was taking too much away from the movie, but it added more.
Totally.
It added more. It made that scene much more visceral.
Like seeing the kid, like through the kid's eyes, seeing all that going on, like that's totally like loss of innocence, all that stuff.
Exactly. It's a very
really cool.
It's a very loss of innocence and like transitioning.
And they're trying to keep that kid innocent. Like they're trying to like put don't watch, don't look at the stuff, protect the kid while all this. Bloodshed's going on and gore and
exactly.
Trip and then the show off or the face off with the mirrors.
That
was
they're like staring at the mirrors
because they're like staring at the people that they hate, and then they're on the opposite sides of this mirror
doing the same motions.
Looking at each other and then shooting each other as their enemies. And like it's very
Yeah, I really like that. The way that they shot that whole part was really interesting because they're looking at each other and they're doing the same motion, but they're not quite looking at each other.
Yeah.
I love that because it's more like the duality of everything, which is just really cool. Yeah. Like there's a whole lot of that throughout this entire movie.
Yeah.
Next action scene we have would be after the apartment one.
Well, I was going to add in, there's a funny quote where, he's trying to catch his wife at the hospital helping. He suspects that his wife's helping
Nick Cage
at the hospital, which is right. But he goes in and then she, they figure it out, and then she lies that he hasn't seen him or whatever, and then he's walking away, and he's like, mistrust, mixed messages, lies, like this is turning into a real marriage. That was perfect. It was like so. Such a perfect scene, especially like how Travolta delivered it too. It was just like amazing. But,
yeah, I remember that. It was
just
great.
turning into a real marriage. Fantastic. I'm sure it was probably in the previews too, because I was like, this is perfect. Like maybe not in the previews, but it's great.
Maybe not in the previews, but that's still wonderful.
So the next action scene was we go to the church.
In the church, yeah.
For the FBI guy's funeral.
Yeah.
Victor Lazaro.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that scene because it was so... I don't know if John Woo has a thing for religion or not, but it was like so... I don't know, like the way... I don't know. First of all, I don't know how they got away with it too, a lot of it, because I was like, dang. But it was like very... you had like the mask on at the same time, and then you had... just in the background, the prep for the two. So you have like Nick Cage meeting with Sasha beforehand, and then you have Travolta's character meeting with Eve, and like talking about and like this whole setup. I think you knew that there was just going to be this epic moment, in the movie, and then once everybody cleared out, it was like all hell broke loose in the church.
In the church, yeah,
and it was. And then there was, at one point, probably 5 or 6 or 7 guns pointed all at each other, full on, just, yeah. And then Sasha comes out, throws another gun to Nick Cage, so now he's got 2.
You got 2.
And you're like, and then with the doves and the birds, like John Woo's thing, where it's like, and then, it's finally...
It's always the birds.
And then finally somebody makes a move, which was Sasha goes after Eve and, like, protects her almost to get her out of the way of the gunfire.
Yeah.
And then you hear all these gunshots, and it's always the shot of like the bullet coming out of the gun, from all these different sides, and you hear like the oh in the background, make the moment heightens.
Like he's okay. So he makes a lot of religious references in quite a bit of his movies.
Yeah.
But they're not necessarily. It's more to show like parallels between. Like good and evil and stuff like that. That's more what he does with, especially in this movie.
Yeah, that was in there. He said like the eternal battle between good and evil, and it was like that was Travolta walking in and then does like the eternal battle, and he does the Jesus pose, and you're like, okay, all right, here we go. Like, but I think you're right because I'm thinking about, that's how MI2 was and stuff, and. Some other ones.
So it's a lot of birds too.
But yeah, dramatic like effects. Yeah, it's like
always,
the doves.
Always, doves.
The pure dove, like the dove, purity of the dove.
Yeah, it's like this. The whole signal, like that, good triumphs.
Yeah.
Yeah, good wins out in the end.
Well, I wanted to say on the in the church scene, there was a whole roll and shoot that was totally unnecessary. Then Nick Cage did like John Travolta's like behind the pew sneaking away, and then Nick Cage does a whole tuck and roll and double fire that is completely unnecessary. Like he could have just fired, but he does a double roll, and the guy's not even like firing back at that point. So it's just like exactly. And I know that like for ever since I started watching as a kid, I was like, that is so unnecessary. It like looked awesome. Yeah, exactly. Like Nick Cage totally pulled it off, but it was just like it's like just a full like barrel roll and then double firing, and it's just like unbelievable. So yeah, look for that when you're watching it. Just to add to it. But then we get to the scene where his daughter, Travolta's daughter, finally gets to use the knife. Well, he's trying to decide between the two. Yeah. Who's the dad is. She screws up. And then also the voice thing is broken on Nick Cage's character. So they both sound like Travolta. Yeah. And they're like, shoot your father. I'm your father. I'm your father. And like he's doing this whole thing, and like it's like you got to know who your father is, and like it's that part's a trip because. However, they did the dubbing. The dubbing, it was really good. It was, and it was it's really funny. And also going back to when they were programmed in the chip in the hospital, and they used I can eat a peach for hours. I can eat a peach. That's like what they used as the programming. Why voice. That line? Yeah, why? Yeah, exactly. Like of all things, you're like, that's gross. Like why? Yeah, I can eat a peach. And then like he's saying it like it's nothing. He's like, I can eat a peach. I could eat a page for hours. So it's like, it's all raspy. It's just like gross.
It's like, oh,
Just
no.
gross.
Why?
Why did you have to use that?
Why?
God.
Probably because it was on the FBI agent that was on the plane, and she probably had a wire.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
So that was probably how they got
That's
the audio.
Oh, yeah.
So that was probably
Wow.
why that was probably the only reason why they were able to use it.
Wow.
It's probably the only thing that came in clear.
Wow. Yeah. That's wow. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely, because he's hitting on the agent in the plane, and like have to sit on her lap and say, "Oh, wow."
Yeah.
That's good. Because I think I'd wondered that for a long time.
Yeah.
That was good.
Let's see. The daughter uses the knife on Nick Cage's John Travolta character and stabs him in the thigh and twists the blade too.
Twists the blade.
Like that was the best part, that she actually twists the blade too.
Oh yeah.
Which leads to one of the bigger scenes. Not the most expensive one, or the one that they only had to shoot once. That was the plane one, which they only had to get in one shot and then use 13 cameras because they were destroying a real plane.
That's incredible. Yeah.
Which leads to the next great action scene was the boat. It was a boat chase and the boat, them fighting on the speedboats and everything.
Were you saying that was supposed to be in a different movie too, or they were going to use it?
They were going to use the boat scene in, I think it was Hard Target.
Hard Target, yeah.
Hard Target.
That makes sense.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the Jean-Claude Van Damme. And
Yeah.
and then where all the guys are hunting people. And so, wow. This is, yeah. Anyways, it's a whole other thing. That would be a fun group of videos too, like that and some other ones like Bloodsport or something. But anyways, the fact that there's a scene in that too where he goes to the dock to steal the boat and he kills the guy on the boat and just didn't even really shoot him that many times, shoots him 5 or 6 times just right up the street.
Yeah.
Knocks him out, and then he's shooting people on the dock as he's leaving. It's so overdone, so many bullets firing for no reason. And then the police boat, tugboat, is trying to stop him.
It's trying to stop him.
And John
Travolta just shoots all of them.
All of them. 5 or 6 of them just riddled. And it's just
And then he pushes Nick Cage's boat into the police boat, which flies through it. And as he's flying through it, it explodes.
And it becomes the most, the iconic.
It's a very 90s scene,
almost from Speed 2.
Yeah, exactly.
Cruise Control, almost.
Cruise Control.
Almost.
Oh no.
Yeah.
That was so bad. It's so true.
Just incredible. But it's for all that to happen, that's, that was written in, because you're just thinking there's no way. There's no way that would happen.
Actually, fun fact about Speed 2, Keanu Reeves was actually supposed to reprise his role, but he didn't. He turned it down to go shoot The Matrix.
That was a good choice.
It was.
That was a very good choice.
So they tweaked the character slightly, so he's still a cop.
Was his name the same too?
No, they changed it.
They changed his name.
They changed it. But she's still dating a cop.
You are right.
She's still trying to get her driver's license.
Of course.
So.
God damn it, Sandra.
But yeah, so I mean, it's a fun little tidbit for you.
I would say the anchor. Well, a great scene to see the stunt doubles is when the boat finally stops. They hit the freaking
they hit the pier,
or whatever, the boat dock area.
Yeah, the boat dock.
And you get to see the slow-mo of them flying through the air, the boat's exploding in the background, and then the 2 stunt doubles, because they're real. They're not the same haircuts at all, the 2. But you're they threw those guys through the air with wires and everything. It's incredible. Just those guys went through a lot. So
yeah, the stunt guys went through a lot for this movie.
Yes, they threw through a lot of stuff.
Going back to the prison scene,
prison break.
When he breaks out and finds out that it's on top of an old oil rig.
Yeah.
When Nicolas Cage stands on the edge about to jump off, He was most terrified at that point. He was so scared. And the stunt double had to jump off, and it was, from where he jumped off, it's 70 feet to the water from that jump point. It is crazy.
It's insane, yeah.
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 It's crazy.
Well, yeah, especially the chopper in there too. Like, it's a cool looking scene how the chopper follows him, or like passes him, and then he jumps off after the helicopter. So it's like following him with the helicopter in the background.
Yeah.
Drop in the water, but you're right. It's like, that is such a crazy drop.
Oh yeah, like dude, the amount of time, it's slow motion too.
Yeah.
So like he's dropping, and you're like, oh,
his
he's gonna
legs
hit the
are
water.
falling too, and you're like, he's got to bring them together because otherwise he's gonna break his legs. Like, you know, the guy who jumped is like, and then he brings it together. But you're like, man, that was
that probably still really
and
hurt.
the splash too. The splash is huge.
Huge, yeah. It was crazy. So yeah, like the stunt doubles, you see them very, very clearly when they're thrown from the boats.
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
And then there's a whole fight scene between John Travolta and Nicolas Cage, and then Nicolas Cage gets the harpoon and shoots John Travolta through the heart. And
well, he grabs it first, and he holds it, and then he's like, and he starts to cut up his own face, being like, "You're always gonna remember me." Like
whenever you look in the mirror.
And all I could think of was like Mission Impossible 2, when he's like, like they're fighting on the sand, and then like he like cuts his like. Tom Cruise has that cut on his face.
Yeah.
It's like so perfect, but then not like this movie. Like Travolta's like just digging in his own face. He's like and then Nick Cage gets pissed, kicks him, and then he releases the hand, goes through, he's sitting there dangling, and then he's singing the "Ready for the big ride, baby," doing that whole thing, and it's just a really good kind of epic ending to it, but.
John Woo wanted to use the harpoon gun instead of like a handgun because he wanted it to be more reminiscent of like the whole Jesus dying on the cross thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why he was
totally in that. Okay.
Yeah. That's why he was in that position and everything. So.
Wow.
The whole spear going through into Jesus and everything.
Evil, yeah, absolutely. Okay.
So.
Yeah, that makes. Yeah. There were, a lot of graphic, interesting scenes in this movie too.
Very interesting scenes, yeah.
Like where you would, there's times where he shot a guy. One of the guys came in and he's like, "Why are you being all upset about his brother dying?" And he just turns around, pops him right in the head, just like, oh, like just. Yeah. But at the same time, like you think Nick Cage's character would have done that, like he'd have been kind of. Sporadic like that, upset too.
Yeah.
Like, not able to hold back. Or when he kills Victor Lizardo.
Yeah,
from a heart attack, he's like looking around, finds the right timing on it, and you're like, okay, that's pretty reasonable actually. I was like, okay, you could do that. But I don't know, overall it's just a fun watch.
Oh yeah, easily.
Yeah, just for action general, and then just those guys at like the height of their careers too, I feel like,
Yeah, I think at that point John Travolta was kind of like in the plateau of his career.
The plateau.
Because like I think after that he did Broken Arrow, which was also another John Woo movie.
Hell yeah! Yes,
and
Christian Slater.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Exactly.
Howie Long.
Exactly.
Incredible.
And then because there was that whole movie and and then after that it kind of went down because after that there was it Battlefield Earth?
Ooh. Yes.
That movie was so bad. That movie was so bad. Oh, it was terrible. Yeah. That was that's the worst movie I've ever seen.
And then South Park just probably ripped on them after that, probably.
Yeah, oh yeah.
That's really, Easily. They're all in the closet together after that.
Got trapped in the closet. I thought she cut an accident.
Come on, Tom. You gotta get out of the closet. Come on. Can't stay in the closet forever, Tom.
Tommy gotta get out of the closet. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. I was like, can you let me in?
For you guys don't know that you gotta watch that South Park. Incredible. R. Kelly. Closet, I think, or something.
Yeah, it was
incredible.
It was making fun of Scientology as well as Trapped in the Closet
Yeah.
by R. Kelly.
Yes.
Which was a whole, like, mash of, like, 20, like so many videos. Super unnecessary. The song, I think, is, like, it's like a half hour.
Yeah.
Because it tells, like, a whole story, and it's, again, it's really unnecessary. Just listen to the Weird Al one. It's much better.
Yeah. Yeah.
Trapped in the drive-thru.
Absolutely.
It's much better.
Get more from it, yeah. Oh, Travolta.
Travolta.
But I guess next time you
Yeah.
guys will see us.
I guess
doing another Nick Cage movie.
Yeah, we're doing. This is the Rage Cage.
The Rage Cage.
Rage Cage movies.
Yeah.
So the next movie we'll be watching is Con Air.
Oh boy.
Con Air. God, I love that movie.
Oh, I can't wait.
I love it so
just that
much.
accent, just that Alabama accent, whatever Southern accent he has. That's just incredible.
Why could you put the money back in the box?
Just pure America.
Exactly. I think this is my favorite John Cusack role too. Besides him and Identity.
Oh, I forgot. I even forgot Cusack was in that.
That movie and Identity are my favorite two John Cusack movies.
This one at the hotel?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good too.
With Ray Liotta.
Yeah. Ray Liotta.
Dude, I love Identity. That's a great movie. But yeah, so yeah, you'll see us next time. We'll talk about Con Air. So.
Hey, Monica Potter.
Yes.
I loved her.
Yes.
She's great.
Love it.
I love Monica.
We usually end in a little saying.
Okay.
So, how's it? Here's to you. Here's to me. If by chance we disagree, well then screw you. Here's to me.
Here's to me. Very good. Very good.
Cheers.